Okay, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of Haikuu, the dumpster battle, which sounds like it would be a hoarder's movie about hoarding stuff. It's not. The It's a Japanese animated movie based on a manga about Japanese volleyball. Apparently, they love it over there, just like they love it in other sports. And this is apparently yet again an example of Kal Kat going to a sequel to a movie that already established its characters. Yeah, and having no clue as to what they were. Fortunately, the anime version of this manga does explain who the characters are. It spends a little time putting the character arcs together and saying, okay, there's these two main characters who end up in rival factions on a volleyball team. They're in high school. Then there's like a championship, and there's a third one that's sort of a triangle, and with the third one who can jump really high, and yeah, it doesn't have magic in it. It doesn't have spells, and it doesn't have anything like that. It doesn't have a love triangle in it, or from what I can tell, I'm guessing that the show probably did, and that they probably set that up, but it's not in this one. It's sort of implied. The characters had something for each other, but it's never. They don't go there. They don't show anything like that. Maybe the American version is had been censored a little. I'm not sure. It's the one that has the Japanese subtitles. No, Japanese with English subtitle. And it is a volleyball movie, which you would think would sound completely boring and non-sequitur, but it is animated in such a way. It's an anime that it's not boring. You're captivated, interested in what's going on with the characters, what they're doing, the motivation of the old coach guy. There's always an old coach guy or old guy with his eyes really closed shut. There's always one of those, and there's one with bug eyes. There's always do that. Going back to the 70s, there's always somebody like that. There's always the redheaded guy reminds me of the kid from Cowboy Bebop, hopping around like acting like goofy and stuff. The one with the blonde hair, but I know they all have names and they're hard to pronounce, so I'm not going to try and butcher the names. Hamadura, I think is one of them. Pretty sure. And Takanami is one of them, I think. But other than that, and there's a Yamato in there somewhere. But it's Toho produced it, so I can't show you any footage from it because I get flagged by Toho immediately. So I can't. I didn't make any footage of it, so I can't show you any footage of it. I didn't download any of it. What would be the point? So yeah, I'm gonna get flagged. Starts out with presumably a flashback to the show. I was reading about it after the fact, going, oh, this is supposed to be the season finale of this show. Basically, it's an OVA season finale of the show. They were advertising this at Fanime, so yeah. So I wanted they could have seen it at Fanime, could have seen it earlier. But I only went there on Friday. I wasn't there on Saturday or Sunday when they aired it. So I wasn't there for that. But yeah, so it was in theaters. They put it in theaters, so it came out here. So we went to see it a few weeks later. It's in theaters now. Yeah, so you have it's anyway. I wonder why in the American release it says PG-13. Because really, technically, it's for like occasional high school age swearing, I guess. Yeah, so there must have been something in this the American censors didn't like that they cut out. So it's not PG-13. It's PG. It's fine. Why would it be PG-13? It makes no sense. There's nothing bad in it at all. If they're freaked out by the suggestion, there's a triangle between the males. Teammates, there's only a suggestion. Nobody goes there, so I don't know what they're complaining about in the story. I'm sure there is There's probably versions online where they do the Rule 34 and they go there. But but the Japanese are very conservative, so maybe not. Maybe they just imply it with the fan base. The fandom puts up their own shipping. I'm sure there is shipping of this movie. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not that interested in that kind of thing. And then the shipping of this movie, that would be silly. So, but the characters are two rival schools, and they were friends before, and then apparently earlier on in junior high, but then they went to different high schools, and they ended up being rival teams when they went to high school, on rival teams, even though they were best friends from junior high. Okay, and they have a lot of sneaker noises. The sneakers are running around, the shoes make a lot of the basketball noises and stuff. If you heard this movie like off to the side, and all the grunts and moans and knocking the ball around and everything, you could construe that it was something weird going on, but it's just it's volleyball. But it's playing volleyball. I'm not sure how different Japanese volleyball is from American volleyball. I think some of the terms are different, just like Japanese baseball is different from American baseball. So some of them are a little weird, but other than that, that seems to be there. I think. Also, there was a preview for a soccer one that's similar. There was a preview for that, and somebody had mentioned that. What do they call they call it the kicker or something other than a kicker? They call the attacker or the something. No, that's the kicker. I know that the soccer is the kicker. That's something like that. The kicker, yes. And of course they threw in. Let's use their chi at one point. So the name comes from the premise that you have there's a crow and a cat, and they're by a dumpster. But also, I thought maybe that just translated weird. But apparently, they liked the idea of it being called like the crow and the cat would have been a cool title. The cat and the crow, a cool title. That's the rival teams, the cats and crows. But of course, you got to see a thing with cats and crows. Not realizing they don't turn into anthropomorphic cats and crows, or cast spells or anything like that, which would be awesome. They didn't do that. They totally should have. It was not that kind of anime. It wasn't a mystical fantasy anime with people transforming into anything. It wasn't like the Beast, the Beauty and the Beast one. It wasn't like the Bell. It wasn't like the Boy in the Head, or the Lock It Up Girl, or a number of other ones from before. Or In Your Name and the other one. It wasn't like that. It was a straight up like okay, based in reality. It could happen. It's a tournament, ball tournament movie, and yeah, for like roughly 90 minutes. You kind of had to tell a story of just that. Okay, and as I'm not really a volleyball fan very much, but I could play volleyball better than baseball only because I could see the ball. But that doesn't mean I was into good. Slaughter ball, yes, in high school. But yes, I could see the ball. He stuck me up the front so I could just like knock the ball out of the leg. You just be a guard. Knock the ball out of the okay. That kind of thing. With your head if you have to. Yeah. So we have it's perfectly fine movie. It's a cartoon movie. It's don't know why it's PG-13. That makes no sense. There's nothing untoward in it. Nothing sexual at all. They imply it a lot. They heavily imply it a lot. But yeah, guys giving each other the eye like but nothing ever happens. They're faking each other out, I guess. Huh? They're like, yes, I like and honor you. Yes, I like you so much. And then whap, there goes a ball in your face. You should have figured out that halfway through that one guy's shtick was that he he would pretend to like you and then whop you with a ball. It's kind of, they should have figured that out, but yeah, but for sure. Of course, you have the crowd with oddly enough cheerleaders, which would be, well, I guess you kind of could have cheerleaders. It's a little weird. And then you have sort of you have your been around since the early days of animation and mangas. That you always have some characters in the audience that faces get all distorted. Teeth get all yay, and they go all crazy, or the eyes get all distorted. They're kind of like, reminiscent of ancient Fleischer cartoons that the Japanese saw, and ancient Disney cartoons the Japanese saw as well. They're actually heavily animated by early Disney. Yes, you can look it up. The anime is inspired by, like, the first Disney movie, way back, like Snow White, Cinderella, that kind of thing. All classics. Yeah, no, it's inspired. Wow, heavily inspired, but early Disney. Yeah. But yes, and then Disney got inspired the other way around in the 80s during the Silver Age by using manga anime-looking characters, from The Little Mermaid on. It's like, okay, yeah, you're trying to reinvent what they already had. Of course, the anime show that the anime shows that I'm familiar with are the Macross Saga and its various iterations, that's known as Robotech here, and that's old school, real old school. And the Transformers, which was called Diaclone over there. So yeah, the Robotech and the Transformers, Diaclone, and it was also called Transformers. Yeah, spin-offs were called that. So yeah, with unintentionally hilarious titles like Headmasters and and Godmasters and Master Force. Kind of sounds like they're like a weird kink bar or something, but they weren't. They were just Transformers. Yes. But in this one, in this one you have Macross kind of did that too. The songstress stuff. They love the J-pop stuff. I'm surprised there was very little of that in this one. Still kind of implied off to the side, kind of thrown in. It would be interesting to see what the English subtitled one was, but I don't think I'd ever own it. It's fine for a movie for what it is, and this movie, the dumpster battle, it's kind of fun to have seen it. But I'm not really familiar with the show, so it's not my demographic. So, yes, to be fair, as a online critic, such a person, it's not my demographic. So I'm not really like high school age volleyball sports. I didn't really do much sports in high school. Just after the senior year, late junior year, early senior year, Taekwondo, and then on for another 18 years of that. From 18 on to 36. Taekwondo. So I know about Korean martial arts, but yeah, so there's a lot of martial arts stuff in this that they're implying vicariously through the volleyball play. It's like you're watching a martial arts kung fu movie with volleyball players. And that part's cool. Yeah, sure, why not? Anyway, so that's my review. Of Haikuu. Not Haikuu, but Haikuu, the dumpster battle. I guess if they'd called it the volleyball battle, that would have been boring. Call it that. It would have been too on point. Dumpster battle. I think the Crow and the Cat would have been a cool title. Maybe it was taken. The Crow and the Cat battle. Of course, a cat being much larger than a crow would just kind of rip it apart and eat it. Unless the crow got the upper hand and there were more of them, the murder of crows, and they all sort of ganged up on the cat. Yeah, a cat could take out the crow. And sometimes our eyes would change shape and stuff. And get all. It was animated. Yeah, animated. Yeah, it was fine. It's like when I went to see that Lock It Up Girl movie, which was definitely not for boys. Oh well. The time warp character transforms me into time warp. That part was cool, but it was about a girl who runs around. She's a locksmith basically. She runs around opening, fixing doors to other dimensions. It's kind of fun. But yeah, yeah, similar to some of the Studio Ghibli stuff from back in the day. I've never seen something. Yeah. Ew. Yes, I've also seen the Hananumi, The Wings of Change, or whatever it was. That one. I've seen that one too. And the original Cowboy Bebop. I did not watch the Netflix remake of Cowboy Bebop. It's terrible. No. And I've seen Captain Harlock. I've seen the other version from America too, in which they combined it with Queen of a Thousand Years. I've seen that. Which is a spin-off of Star Blazers, that are known over there as Yamato. Space Battleship Yamato. Yes. Became Star Blazers over here. And they have the Comet Empire and the Bolar Wars and all that over here. And that was another series that they made out of 3 other ones. But in that case, it was kind of supposed to be a spin-off of the other one. Captain Harlock was sort of a character who was kind of peripheral to Wildstar. He was like his cousin. He goes on adventures. They were supposed to be related. Yeah. Ooh, that one. He's his cousin. So yeah, the space pirate ship. That would be cool to have that as a model. The space pirate ship from Captain Harlock, next to the Yamato, the classic, yeah, and the SDF ship, of course. But yes, that'd be cool. But yeah, so shit. What would be the prop for this movie? What would be the selling point? Bobbleheads, yeah, they're posters, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe you'd have like a team ball with a volleyball with the characters on it. With the name, the 2 names on it. You know, kind of crossing paths. Yeah. Slaughter ball. Slaughter ball would have been a good time. But yes, then they would have to pay homage to On Location at Pine Hill. Call it Slaughter Ball. Or Mega Ball, which is the other version. Senior year version. They updated it to Mega Ball, but it was Slaughter Ball originally. And of course, high school was a long time ago. 53, 54, somewhere around there. So this would have been, I would have been a senior in 1989. So yeah, we kind of had a volleyball. It was called the Pine Hill Panthers. They were Pine Hill Panthers. They were a cat. So we weren't very good. Anyway, so yeah, no. Rival school was Valley Christian. What was their logo? I think it was like Trojans or something. Not original like that. But yeah, the Saints would be appropriate, but there was something else. Maybe it was the Trojans. I think they were the Trojans. Similar to Milpitas High, the Trojans. They could have been the Spartans. So that would be San Jose State. And Evergreen really didn't have a team. Yeah, sort of, kind of. Yeah. That would have been college, though. Yeah. but yeah, yeah, it was fine. Perfectly salvageable movie. It's fine. Go see it.